Welcome back. In this video, I would like to teach you how to use Gizmos. And we've used Gizmos before without knowing maybe. And look at our lighting, for example, or even our camera. This here is a gizmo. It displays where the camera is because the camera itself doesn't have a physical body. The same goes for the lighting. Let me find the lighting, directional light. It's directly here. You see, it has this sun kind of icon, and this is also a gizmo. So if you turn gizmos off here at the top, you can see that it disappears. The entire visibility of the thing disappears. So the same goes for the camera. Here you see, if you turn off the gizmos, the camera is not visible. And now let's actually use our own gizmos. You can, for example, add a gizmo anytime here. So this icon here allows you to select a gizmo. Let's say this red color you can see here. Now we know, okay, this is the door. All right, so this is how you can use gizmos and add gizmos to your game. But that by itself is not really the power of gizmos. So let's look at a very powerful application. Let's say we have the key and we have the door and all of the good stuff. So let's say we had a bunch more keys and a bunch more doors. Therefore, let me drag this key into my prefab so that I can reuse it. And now let's duplicate the door, or let's drag another door in here, and let me rotate it a little bit towards the Y coordinate. Let's say the door is now here with -90 or 90 degrees, doesn't really matter. So like this, we have another door, and then let's say we have another key here. And now in this case, we just have two doors and two keys. But this door, for example, won't be openable because this key is not assigned to this door yet, or this door is not assigned to this key yet. In this particular example, it's quite easy because we have so few game objects. But now imagine a game where you have hundreds upon hundreds, maybe even thousands of game objects, and they are reliant on each other. They need to have something assigned to them. But you don't notice it just by looking at the game scene. You don't even notice it. Well, you could notice it by going through all of the game objects, but you don't want to do that if you have thousands of them. Imagine how much work that is. Of course, you can run the game and see where an error occurs, and then you can fix that error, then you can see where the next error occurs, and so forth, because you haven't assigned the right game object, for example. But there is an easier way for that, and that is the draw gizmo method. So the onDraw gizmos method that we can use. So therefore, let's go ahead and go into our key script here and use this method. So here, let me add it here, onDraw gizmos. So implement this onDraw gizmos if you want to draw gizmos that are so pickable and always drawn. All right, let's use that. So inside of this method, we can now say what we want to display. So let's say if the door to unlock, and not the door itself, but the door to unlock that we need to add to it is not null, which means we have a door to unlock. If we added that, what I want to use is a green gizmo color. So I'm going to set the gizmo color using gizmos.color. So setting the property color from the gizmo to green. And then I want to draw a ray that goes from the key to the door that the key is responsible for. Okay, so here I can use gizmos dot draw ray. So it will draw a ray starting at from to from plus direction. So it will just basically say, well, it will just cast a ray. It's pretty cool. We're going to see that in a second. So it needs to have the position from where the ray should start to where the ray should go. And I'm saying, okay, from the key, so from the transform position, go to the door that we want to unlock. So to the door to unlock dot transform dot position minus the own position. So minus transform position. This might seem to be a little unintuitive, but this will now draw a ray that goes from the key to the door that it is assigned to. So now let's go back to our game. Once we've saved the script, always make sure that you save the script. And now you can see that there is this ray here. There's this green ray, and it says, cool, there is a connection between this game object and that game object. But you see that this one doesn't have it. Well, that by itself is fine, but let's make it even more obvious that there is something missing. And therefore, let's go back to our key script. And here in the else block, so if the door to unlock is null, which means we don't have a door that we need to unlock with this key. We haven't assigned it yet in Unity. So here, let's go back to the key. Here we have assigned the door to unlock, but in the other key, we haven't assigned it yet. So now let's fix that. Or let's not fix that problem, but let's fix the issue with the gizmos. So let's use the color red in this case. So color red, which will give us a beautiful red color. And then I want to use gizmos dot draw sphere, which will draw a sphere at a position that I can define. So I can just say draw sphere at the position where the key is right now. So position plus a little higher. So vector 3D up times 2. So it will just be twice as high as the item itself. And then look at it over it. So it says the vector 3, where the center of the sphere should be, and then the radius that you want to define. So here the radius should be a float. So I'm going to say 0.5f. So that will be the size of the sphere that I'm going to display on top of my key. Okay, so let's save the script now and go back to Unity once we saved it. And what we'll notice is that we now have this beautiful red sphere. It's not beautiful, but it's there on top of this door, which just indicates, hey, Dennis, you're missing a connection between this key and the door that it needs to unlock. So let's make sure that we have a door that we want to unlock, and actually not this one. Let's make sure that it's going to be this door. So click on the door and you can see it's door 1. So let's drag door 1 into the door to unlock. You see the gizmo disappears, but now this green line appears. So now as a developer, we will now know which item is responsible for which item. And this is very, very powerful and super, super useful when building your games. Because as I said, otherwise it's a mess. It can really decrease the enjoyment of your life as a game developer, okay? If you don't use these gizmos. So make sure that you're aware of these gizmos, and in cases where it makes sense, add gizmos. You see, you can really build gizmos via code. And let's just create another key here. Let's drag another key from our prefabs in here. Let me do that. And you see it directly has this gizmo because it doesn't have a door that is assigned to it. So let me drag another door in here, over there. And now let's say, okay, the door that it should unlock will be door 2. And there we are. So now we have this green line that is connected to our door. And now let's run the game to see how this is going to look in action, because once we're running the game, you can see it doesn't do anything. Well, it doesn't display those gizmos. So let me touch this one. This door closes. Let me touch that one. And that door closed. We didn't see that properly. And then let's touch this one and the door closes again, or the last door closes. All right, so that was gizmos. I hope this gave you a better idea of gizmos and the power of them. And now always make sure to save your scene once you're happy with the results, and see you in the next video.